Hi everyone, welcome on the channel. Today we will talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency without a central bank or single administrator that can be sent from user to user on a peer-to-peer Bitcoin network without the need for intermediaries. But how does Bitcoin mining work? Uh, Today we will talk about mining of Bitcoin. Bitcoin are discovered rather than printed. Computers around the world mined for coins by competing with each other. Bitcoin mining is the process of discovering new blocks, verifying transactions, and adding them to the Bitcoin blockchain. Each time a new block is discovered, the successful miner is granted the right to fill that block with new transaction data in return for dedicating time and resources to performing this task. Winning miners receive a free amount of newly mined Bitcoin known as a block reward, as well as any fees attached to transactions they store in the new blocks. The process of giving successful miners newly minted Bitcoin is exclusively how new coins enter circulation. Why mine Bitcoin? There are two primary reasons why a person or company would want to mine cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. To stand a chance of earning Bitcoin block reward, which as of 2022 equals 6.25 Bitcoins, approximately $210,000 at press time. New blocks are routinely discovered once every 10 minutes. To participate in securing and maintaining the decentralized Bitcoin network. How do Bitcoin miners discover new blocks? In order to validate and add new transactions to the blockchain, miners must compete with each other using specialist computing equipments. They use their equipments to generate fixed length codes known as hashes. In order to discover the next block, miners must generate a hash that has an equal or higher number of zeros in front of it than the target hash. The target hash is a 64-digit hexadecimal code comprising number 0 to 9 and letters A to F. All miners are trying to get below in order to discover the next block. As a starting point, all miners take the data from the previous block, known as the block header, which contains things like timestamps of the block, the hash of the previous block data, and an empty space known as a cryptographic nonce. Most of the data in the block header is fixed, meaning it cannot be changed. Data in the block header is fixed, meaning it cannot be changed apart from the nonce. A nonce means a number only used once, and in the part of the previous block header that miners are allowed to tweak. Remember, just changing a single bit of the input produced a totally different hash. The tricky part is hashes are generated completely at random, meaning it's possible for miners to know what the hashes will be before they generate them. So it's simply a case of trial and error until someone finds the right nonce value, known as the golden nonce. This is why miners have to invest in energy-intensive computers, particularly application-specific integrated circuit miners that can generate trillions of hashes per second. An easy way to think of Bitcoin mining is to imagine each new block is a treasure chest with a combination lock on it. to get the free Bitcoin block reward inside and with the right to add new transaction data into it and collects the associated fees. You have to keep turning one of the numbers wheels on the log, the nonce, until you create the combination, the target hash combination log. To see just how difficult it is to generate a hash with more zeros at the front than the above target hash, try creating a winning hash yourself with this free online hash generator. Simply type anything you want in the text box provided and see if it produced a hash with more than 17 zeros at the front. What is a hash? A hash is a cryptographic mathematical function that converts any message or data input into a fixed length code. Think of it as an encryption technique where messages are mathematically transposed into a sequence of numbers and letters of a fixed length. The outputs have set lengths to make it impossible to choose the size of the input. For instance, the hash for the word "hi" will be exactly the same length as the hash of the entire text of a Harry Potter book. Theirs has function irreversible, meaning that it's impossible to revert the hash back to its original input. The same input will also always generate the same sequence of letters and numbers. For example, the hash of hi will be the same code every time. Each code generated is completely unique too, meaning it's impossible to produce the same hash with two different inputs. In the case of Bitcoin, the blockchain uses secure hash algorithm 256 or SHA-256 to generate a 256-bit or 64 characters long output, regardless of the size of the input. How to rewarding is Bitcoin mining. For every new block added to the blockchain, the protocol, a set of rules programmed into Bitcoin, released a fixed amount of newly minted coins to the successful miner. This block reward system doubles as a distribution mechanism for Bitcoin. As part of the programmed measures introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto to steadily decrease the number of Bitcoin released over time, the Bitcoin awarded to miners are slashed roughly every 4 years or 210,000 blocks in a process known as the Bitcoin halving. In 2009, the block reward was 50 BTC. This figure was reduced to 25 BTC in 2013. The most recent halving occurred in 2020, and so block rewards fell from 20.5 BTC to 6.25 BTC. Note that Bitcoin has a 21 million maximum supply cap, and we already have 18.9 million coins in circulation. Block reward will no longer be distributed once 21 million Bitcoins has been released to the market. Once this happens, miners will only be able to earn rewards in the form of the Bitcoin transaction fees. Even with this combination of two revenue sources, not every miner generated profits to make ends meet. A miner's earning must exceed the amount spent on electricity and the purchase and maintenance of mining rigs. Also, as mining difficulty increases, large mining operations are forced to expand or upgrade their equipment to maintain a competitive edge. For most average miners who cannot afford to invest in expensive equipment, there is an opportunity to combine their resources with other miners around the world. Each miner agrees to share rewards according to the contribution of each miner. This network of miners are called mining pools. There are, however, some rare instances where solo miners have successfully mined blocks on their own from home Bitcoin difficulty. Okay guys, that's all for now. Please wait for the second part. Subscribe on the channel. Bye.